Next, we're going to talk about instincts.
An instinct I always have felt is a gift from the Creator that warns you not to take that road, or to, you gave the example the other day, you were going to run, and you normally run on a trestle, and something prevented you from doing it. 4 people died on the trestle at the time you would normally have been there, because it was such a beautiful evening. You listened to your instinct.
I think as a people, we've kind of pushed that aside. We've just kind of pushed the instincts aside. Children have a lot of instincts. But I think that as we get older, we just kind of, what's that? But that is the thing that could save your life someday. It'll keep you on the straight and narrow. But, all these things are good. But the aliens have warned us and warned us and warned us not to use drugs, not to use alcohol, because that can destroy everything. It can destroy your instincts. You don't follow them because you're not in control. It can affect your meditation. It can affect your balance. It can affect everything in your life. And so they've really hit hard on not using these things because they alter your mind. And if you're not understanding what's going on, you could be influenced by negative forces very easily.
I think your instinct is that naggy gut feeling. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Or even, I think I'll go do such and such. And the answer is not revealed to you right away, but then you may hear it later, or you may not. You may not know either the end result, but you may hear later, oh, boy, I'm glad I listened to that. Like Bonnie was saying, it could be the difference someday between your survival or not. It's a feeling, a nagging feeling that either I shouldn't do this or maybe I should do something. And as far as meeting individuals too for the first time, your instinct kicks in. Either you really like them and you're not intimidated, you don't mind being in their aura, or you feel like, something's different. Or you don't want to be near them. It's your instinct. It's a feeling.
A lot of times we don't listen to it, and we'd be much better off if we did. I know I've had that feeling sometimes. I don't know if I trust that person, and I'm like, well, I'll just see where it goes. And I learned much later I should have followed that instinct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would have been better off if I would have listened to it in the first place.
I have a couple examples when I was younger, to say. I used to have an audible, like your instincts were almost something you can hear. And it was 2 times. I was about to do something dangerous, and I could hear, are you sure you want to do that? And both times I felt I did do it, and both times I got hurt. So it was like, especially the second time I was a little bit older, and I initially did the right thing, and somebody talked me into doing, well, why are you doing that? Everybody else does this, I was sitting somewhere in the middle, centered, gravity, center of gravity was down low, and then nobody does that. Everybody sits on the side, and it's something tipped over while I was on it. So it's like you know better, but then you didn't. Usually when you don't listen, you get hurt or you regret your decision.
So I guess I'd like to tie it in with the alien aspect of things. if you fear or you are afraid of an alien being, that you listen to.
Yeah,
That's your instinct telling you that is a being to be afraid of, and their intent towards you is no good.
how many times have we been to conferences where people say, once I got past the fear, which I don't think they got past the fear. I think they were being worked on to like
Justify it.
get their memory, change their memories or whatever, screen memories or whatever. There are people in the field that are psychologists trying to help people accept this, like get past the fear. And it's like, don't drown out your instincts. That's why they are there.
Right.
Well, I think because they're trying to brainwash people into saying that and when I say I mean the negative alien being, their agenda is for our own eventual good. Well, no.
Yeah, I don't think they realize
It
that they are playing a part in the negative aliens' agenda by having people accept this fear and abuse, abductions.
So instinct plays a huge role in refusing or avoiding being abducted. That's another gift we've been given. Your instinct.
And with that instinct, and if you feel threatened or anything, then you send out your light. And that's another layer of protection.
And
Yeah.
say a prayer. There you go again. And it's all balance. When you're balanced, you listen to your instinct. All this goes hand in hand, using light, meditation, prayer, balance, instincts. Especially this, we were just talking about refusing abduction. To hone all those, to keep them in balance, yourself in balance, use the light and prayer and meditation, talking to God, listening to God, will help you to refuse alien abduction.
Right. Right. And if they're positive aliens and you're frightened, they will back off because they don't want to harm you in any way. So there's a difference between the two.
But sometimes you can sense that too, that they do not mean you any evil intent, or they do not mean you any harm. But the fear comes from you don't know what this is. You haven't seen this before, and so you're naturally afraid of it,
Right. And that's what happened the first time that I was in contact with the aliens. I mean, I knew about the aliens, but it still frightened me to have a ship come down in the middle of the road and an alien come out and invite me on board the craft. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I go, will I ever come back to my family? And, all that negative thing. And they were willing to leave without doing anything. And I realized then, if they weren't going to take me against my will, they had no evil intent with me.
Right. Well, and they must have sensed your thoughts and your emotions.
Well, sure, they could feel that. They could sense those fear and my emotions, and they were willing to go and not bother me. So I felt that, boy, they must not have any negative intent like I thought they might. And so I decided that maybe I should go with them anyhow. But that was my instinct, because I'd never seen an alien before, I'd never seen a ship that close before. But when I thought about it, I realized that they weren't going to take me against my will. So they were not the negative type. But through the years, I think with the practice of everything that the aliens have explained to us, we have learned a lot. And I'm thankful for all that.
Well, I guess the positive beings in space do not abduct. They follow what is called the universal law of non-interference. They don't paralyze people. They don't do medical experimentation. They're not creating a hybrid race. They recognize God as being creator. So there's a big, huge difference between the two. The negative aliens and the positive ones.
It seems like the negative aliens are really working hard to mimic what the positive aliens do, so that to fool people, and if you really have to use your instincts. You really have to be connected with the Creator to discern.
Be balanced so that you can recognize the difference between the negative and the positive.
Well, the story may sound almost identical, but there's something that makes you go, "Huh, that didn't sound quite right." Just maybe one little thing in there. Otherwise, it sounds the same. So, but that one little thing, hang on that's your instinct telling you that isn't right.
And it usually is in the beginning of the contacts or abduction where it's different. And then the other things happen at the end. Usually the abductees tend to have this screen memory or even just make up something that's more positive to rationalize what happened, try to live with this horrific event. And then the contact, you might have, like Bonnie said, a little fear of the unknown, and then you realize that was unrational fear. And then your gut says, hey, they're willing to leave. They're not going to abduct me against my will.
And the one thing is that you cannot trust your eyes, because there are shape-shifting extraterrestrials who will appear as someone you know. But like you say, that person wouldn't say that, or that person would never act this way. They're trying to fool you.
And as soon as you think that or have that thought, the gig is up. They know you know, and it's over. They know they can no longer have their power over you.
And that's another thing we talked about earlier. If you display a negative emotion, fear, anger, that only serves to energize or to give power, your power, away to the negative aliens. So when you start, you send out your light, you pray, your gut says no, you don't succumb to the fear, you remain calm, and you know that God's got your back, then like you said, the gig is up. The light is sent out. They cannot enter into the light.
But I would like to say one thing though. But sometimes you may naturally, you're going to be fearful, but your faith is 100% on God, and He's going to stop it. But sometimes you can't help that.
Well,
you
yes,
have that
that's
fear,
Yes, it's a human emotion. But I'm saying, when you succumb,
right?
that means you just totally
Gave into it.
I think fear is there for a reason too, but the irrational, the one where you just give up and give in to the dark side, that's what the kind of fear I'm talking about. Fear is like pain.
It disables
It just shows you there's something wrong.
Well, I like the description an individual gave who was abducted, woke up in an environment and saw a little being there, and he said, "In the name of Jesus Christ, put me back." Next thing he knew, he was going into his bed. He dropped in so hard he hit his head on the headboard, and he was kind of a little bewildered as where he was when he woke up. But he never hesitated calling on God. That's that faith, that's that instinct that God has your back. And I like his, "Put me back now."
Yeah, and we have several examples on our website, www.thelightside.org, where people use different methods, but it was all going back to the source for help in one way or another to refuse an alien abduction.
So we will be back with some more stuff later on.
And if
Stay
there are,
tuned.
yeah, and if there are some topics you'd like us to cover, by all means, send us a line to our email account and we will.
We don't know everything, and we'll tell you if we don't know.
And-
Or what the aliens have explained to us and how they explained it.
Yeah, we'll share everything they have told us about interesting topics that maybe you are interested in too. Some of them are like are the moon, pyramids, Planet X, extreme weather, Earth changes. You know, we've asked tons of questions on those kind of things.
And they were good enough to answer them
Mhm.
and explain to us.
Okay, so stay tuned until next time, right?
Keep looking up.